Hello. We're excited to share some information with you about the state of North Dakota. My name is Meredith Suffren, and I'll be talking to you about this lovely state that I was able to visit. For a little information about me, I am the VP of Marketing here at Worldwide Health Staff. I've been in the marketing business for about 20 years, working in food, beverage, entertainment, and healthcare. Personally, I'm a fan of sports, live music, and theater. And I spent a week in the state of North Dakota during a month-long road trip, which I'll tell you more about. And personally, I've explored all 7 continents and 48 of the 50 US states. And now I'll let Tracy introduce herself.
Amazing. Thank you, Meredith. And thank you everyone for joining. We're so excited to talk to you about North Dakota today. So I am the Director of Recruiting here at Worldwide. I'm based in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have over 10 years of experience in the overall staffing industry, a blend of healthcare and IT. And I'm passionate about helping our candidates and clients meet their hiring goals. And although I have not been to North Dakota, I've had the pleasure of learning a lot about the state and the various cities within the state regarding some of the clients that we support, which I'll get into here in a little bit.
All right, wonderful. So let me tell you a bit about the state of North Dakota. I spent a week of a month-long road trip there in June of 2021. What I think you'll find about the United States is it's great to be able to explore a lot of different states and different regions very easily by car. So I traveled from east to west across I-94. I started in Fargo, which is on the border of North Dakota and Minneapolis, went to the center area of Bismarck, and then ended on the west side in the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. There's a lot of rugged terrain, as you can see in some of these pictures. All of the pictures that are included in this presentation were some of my personal ones for my trip. But a lot of great beauty in the Badlands, the different cavernous areas, and a lot of different things, but also spotted wild bison. The picture here in the center on the bottom is actually watching them migrate across the national park, which was amazing. Along this road trip, there were some interesting roadside attractions. The first one in the center is Salem Sioux, who's the world's largest Holstein cow. You hopefully can get some perspective of size. I didn't put in my selfies in this, but also then the world's largest buffalo outside of Jamestown, North Dakota. So a lot of quirky, fun signs and a lot of personality and hidden gems throughout the state, which was great. I also, some of the highlights there's a lot of great urban exploration, and I've talked about 2 of the cities, and I'll mention a little bit more, but there's also some wide open landscapes. There are lots of state and national parks. I'd say that's true of the Midwest or the Plains states in general. So you get a lot of variety of terrain, a lot of outdoors, which is wonderful. And here in particular in these national parks, there was some wildlife. There's some features of prairie dogs. If you don't know what they are, look them up. They're adorable. Some deer, wild horses, cattle, and those migrating bison. But you can tell here there's a lot of great mix of, city life, but also the outdoor open lands. So for the state of North Dakota, I'll start on the weather. It is a northern state within the center of the U.S. So they do have all 4 seasons, but they're a lot more mild and moderate compared to some of the other states because of its geography. So all 4 seasons and truly a range. There will be, the warmer summers, there will be the colder winters, some snow does happen there, but a lot of great, spring and fall as well. The largest city is Fargo, and that is, again, the furthest east on that border. Bismarck, being the capital, is the next largest city, and then Grand Forks is, smaller. But relative to a lot of large populations, these are, I'd say, mid-sized cities, but very easy from a lifestyle perspective and from a travel perspective. So what the North and this region in general is known for. The city of Fargo, you may have heard about it. There's some movies and TV shows with it in its title, but they also have great breweries, restaurants that I checked out while I was there. The Theodore Roosevelt Park has those badlands with a lot of the great terrain and really beautiful. The Missouri River, the center photo there was from a park along the river. There's a lot of fishing and boating, and Lewis and Clark, which were explorers of the states. There are a lot of different sites, and you can go along their trail throughout the state. The Capitol building of Bismarck, it's a very unique design. If you've seen other U.S. state capitals, this one is actually an Art Deco tower, and the entire property was really cool to walk around and explore. And a lot of their industries are oil and agriculture just by nature of the land. So the life in North Dakota, this picture on the left is from one of those forts in the area, because there were again, some of the part of the parks are some of the former forts and things from the U.S. But as a state, it's not very large. It is about 780,000 people, but a very moderate median age. So a lot of folks, especially, are going to those cities for a lot of the different urban living. So thankfully, because the cities aren't very big, there isn't a long commute time, about 20 minutes, which is relatively low, compared to other U.S. cities. A very low unemployment rate. So a lot of great folks that live there, most of them are employed and have jobs. I mentioned the temperatures are sort of moderate relative to other U.S. states. They get a fair bit of rain, but no more than any other state in particular. But it is a very affordable place to live. It's also a very affordable place to visit and travel. Again, in perspective of other U.S. cities. And Bismarck is the largest airport in the area, but there's also Fargo. But because of the close geography, you can easily get to Minneapolis, which is another huge city and an airport hub that is, not very far from Fargo. So some top reasons to live there is the economic opportunities. As we said, it's a lot of great jobs and a relatively low cost of living. A high quality of life. There's a lot of outdoors and a lot of great arts and culture, foods and restaurants, things to do. Low traffic, short commutes. So again, that's unique of cities in this area. Low crime rate, strong agricultural industry. So a lot of farming in the area, which makes for a lot of great crops that you can enjoy as a consumer as well. Economic incentives. They do have a lot of financial incentives for folks that live there. And then great healthcare, as you'll hear more about. There's a lot of great clients that we're working with that would have job opportunities that therefore also provide great healthcare to those patients. And they are those seasons. So you really get a year-round experience for the weather. So those are some of the highlights on North Dakota. So I'll turn it over to Tracy to talk a little bit more about some of the job opportunities.
Thank you, Meredith. Those pictures were so great. Your trip looked amazing. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so in how I referenced earlier that I've gotten to know about North Dakota through several of our current clients. And so as I discuss these clients, I would like to reiterate that the opportunities in which we have hired for and will be hiring for these clients are all EB3 direct hire RN opportunities. And so that will be not only the job in which we support for these different clients, but then the visa type will be EB3. So these are all great opportunities. And so some of these clients that we've supported in North Dakota, one being Common Spirit, which is a very large health system, but they have several locations in the North Dakota state. We will be hiring again specifically for Bismarck, North Dakota very soon. And the units in which we are hiring for Bismarck range from long-term care, med-surg, behavioral health, PCU, just to name a few. And so if you are a nurse interested in joining Common Spirit Bismarck and are interested in the EB3 path on one of those units, we would love to speak to you. And then some others to mention, we're actually currently hiring for Benedictine in several cities within the North Dakota area, specifically for long-term care. So if you are in that skill set and have interest in joining Benedictine on their long-term care unit, please reach out to your recruiter, or we will include a link for you to apply directly to our site in our chat as well for you to use. And then some of the other clients that we are expecting to hire again from very soon are Fresenius and DaVita, and we have hired for their dialysis unit in particular, and then also Cassia and Vibra Healthcare. And so those two units, or those two companies in particular, those hospitals and those healthcare systems are, we've hired for long-term care and skilled nursing. So any of those of you watching that are interested in any of these clients, again, please feel free to reach out. I know I've mentioned some of the units that we have hired for and are actively hiring for, but we would love to talk to you regardless if you have interest in these clients. So next, we will talk a little bit about the licensure requirements for North Dakota. So your nursing license and some of the things that go into the requirements for obtaining your English test and your nursing license. So your Social Security number is not required to obtain your North Dakota license. As far as the United States license, you have to have an active nursing license to obtain that. Fingerprinting CBC is required. And then your CES report, which is your credentials evaluation, it is also required by True Merit, which is formerly known as CGF&S. And then North Dakota they participate in the nursing licensure compact state. And so for those of you that are aware, this means that if you hold a valid North Dakota license, which is a compact state, you are able to practice and can leverage that license in other participating compact states. And then, of course, the English proficiency test that the Board of Nursing requires for North Dakota is a requirement, and the participating providers are TOEFL and IELTS. And so that's just a little bit about the requirements for the North Dakota licensure and English tests. Okay. So living in North Dakota, I know Meredith touched on this a little bit, but I think it's great to see the breakdown in cost as it relates to the kind of closest large metro area, which we found to be San Francisco. So I know we talked a little bit about Fargo and Bismarck. You can see the housing, food, childcare, transportation, overall healthcare, and some other necessities are vastly different than that of a large metro area such as San Francisco. You can see the annual totals are, a wide range here, from where you're looking at about, a little over $210,000. Your all-in expense annually is far less than that at about $95,000. So some good things to note. It's a very affordable state, and specific to these two cities in which we see a lot of opportunity. The housing market is a great one, definitely more affordable, and cost for housing under $1,000 is great, especially compared to even a national average, not just San Francisco. I can attest to that, living in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. That is an absolutely great affordable range. And then transportation, I do like to call out that, especially if you are interested in pursuing opportunities, it's good to note that mostly North Dakota residents are relying on personal vehicles. There's not necessarily a large metro transit available, so it's good to know that as far as getting around the city and the state goes. So that's a little bit about overall cost of living. Some good info in here as you plan for your arrival if you're interested in North Dakota. Okay, and so this is a good kind of idea of what to anticipate if you have anyone joining you in your journey to North Dakota, whether they be a spouse or just overall dependent joining you on your journey. And so the job opportunities in and around the area of North Dakota include anything from healthcare support, education, administrative support, retail and hospitality. As Meredith mentioned, there's some production and industrial, transportation and logistics, IT and remote support, freight dispatcher, social media, customer support, and call center opportunities. So, as mentioned, the unemployment rate is around 2%, which is 2.5% less than the national average. So there are tons of opportunities in North Dakota that are beyond just the RN scope for anyone that might be joining you, which is exciting. Okay. And then I wanted to call attention to our chat. Thank you so much for everyone that's been participating. I know we've got some folks that have let us know they're joining from Zimbabwe, the Philippines, Kuwait, South Africa. Welcome, amazing. Thank you all for letting us know where you're joining in from. We love to see that. Of course, if you have any questions, let us know. I did see a couple in here about if we have job openings for medical technologists, and we do hire for medical technologists. We would love to speak with you if you're interested in that path. So please reach out to either your recruiter or apply directly at the link that's been included in the chat from our host. So thank you so much. A question about sponsoring the NCLEX exam. We do not sponsor the NCLEX exams directly. However, we're more than happy to equip you with some resources in how to go about doing so, and can help kind of guide you on that journey as you work to pass your NCLEX. So again, if you are interested in learning more, would love to leverage some of our resources, we'd love to speak with you. I think I also saw something about CNAs, and we actually are typically hiring for RNs, and then, like I mentioned, some medical technologists. We don't currently have CNA opportunities, but if you do have a desire to obtain your NCLEX and pursue the RN or MLT path, we would be happy to, again, educate you and help you obtain some resources on how to do so. Great question from Divine. Thank you. How many years of experience do you consider? So the minimum requirements for our RN EB3 opportunities are 1, to obtain your NCLEX, and then 2, to have at least 1 year of bedside RN experience. A lot of our clients do require 2 years of experience, but we have some that are open to 1 year of experience, and that's the minimum to apply. So if that's you, we'd love to hear from you. So please apply directly to our link that we've provided. Looks like, yes, we are hiring for PCU units and step down units. So if you are interested, we would love to speak with you. And do we provide H-1B visas? We do have opportunities in the H-1B category. I will be frank, they are few and far between in comparison to our RN EB3 path. However, we have historically considered that as a visa sponsorship opportunity. So if you are interested, we would like to speak with you. And I know our host is continuously putting in the apply at link. So thank you so much. That's the best way to get in touch with us if you are not currently working with a recruiter. Okay. Oh, I see someone watching from Nigeria. Thank you so much. Alawasian Rachel, thank you for the amazing shout out. We appreciate you saying that. Thank you for joining. Perfect.
I'm not sure, Tracy, if you answered one of the questions about age, but our applicants, we do not have an age limit in terms of your application, as long as we're very much interested in focusing on anybody who meets our job requirement criteria. So,
yes, great call out. Thank you so much, Meredith. I did miss that one. I appreciate it. Another question about NCLEX sponsorship. No, we don't sponsor the NCLEX exam specifically, but happy to help provide you some resources. So if you are curious about how to go about doing that, we absolutely can help provide some good tools for you. Watching from Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome, Shemi. Thank you so much. Another from South Africa. Great. Love it. Amazing. Okay, any other questions anyone has? I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any other ones. Let me know, Meredith, if you see any that I didn't catch.
No, I think we're good. And no one asked about the bison or the cows. So if you do have questions about those, please let me know too. No.
The bison looked cute, and the big cow. I loved it. That's just a typical day in North Dakota, so that's great.
The typical day in the parks, but absolutely. But it's a great way to explore some nature. It's pretty amazing.
Awesome. Great. Okay, well, thank you for all of your questions. If you think of something later on, please feel free to reach out. We do have a live chat link our host just dropped for you to speak directly with recruiters if you have questions. And then, of course, you can apply at healthstaff.org/apply. We've also put on the screen here various ways to connect with us. So you can follow us on Facebook, check out our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there, so you can rewatch this or go explore some others that we've posted. We host almost every week, so I would love for you to check that out. And then, of course, please visit our website for more direct information, which is healthstaff.org. Okay, and then also if you are interested in joining Worldwide and have some friends, family, colleagues that you would like to refer as well, please enroll in our Refer a Nurse program. You can earn up to $250 per referral upon petition filing, and the link to do so is both on the screen and in the chat. So we would love for you to join that. And then also I see, the recruiter contact we've added here in the chat, both a live chat to speak with recruiters and a direct link to apply to our website. And those are the best ways to get in touch with our recruiting contacts. So we very much look forward to hearing from you. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you, Meredith, for the great content. Love seeing all of the fun details from North Dakota.